All right, what's up, everybody? Mr. Shea here again, and we are roaring into the 20s. World War One is over, and now America is really becoming a very different place. So that's what we're checking out today. First off, some things that have changed. 18th Amendment's passed 1919, which bans the production, sale, import of alcohol. It does not make it illegal to consume alcohol. However, getting alcohol becomes a very large problem. We'll get more into this in later, my class wise, but it very much does shift how Americans act socially. I mean, alcohol has been part of every society for thousands of years, so this is a pretty significant change as human societies go. 19th Amendment, also pretty significant, incredibly significant, as half of the American population is now allowed to vote. Women are allowed to vote. So the suffrage movement, which has been working since the 1800s to get women's ability to vote, has finally won, as it should have. And women now can vote in national elections, while some other states had allowed women to vote for a while in local elections. So now you have women being able to express their ideas and opinions and shape who gets into politics. Um, which, politically wise, there's a lot of turmoil in the country due to this guy, as well as these people on the left, uh, who are promoting communism. So, Karl Marx, guy with a great beard on the right, uh, believes that the workers of the world are going to rise up against the people that hold the resources, hold the power, and hold the industry, and take it over for themselves. It's going to be a people's revolution in the hands of production, and resources will be in the hands of people. So the Russian Revolution creates this great fear of communism for Americans because it, in many ways, goes against everything that they believe is a right as an American, to create something out of nothing, and this industrious spirit as well. So it creates what's known as the Red Scare. And there's two Red Scares. We'll get into another one later. But the first Red Scare really is this great fear of communism and, in general, a lot of immigrants and any ideas that seem counter to American society. Some of them, if you look on the left, strikes, unions, and labor movements are often considered to be or accused of being sympathetic or, in fact, totally embracing communist ideas, due to the fact it's people, workers uniting against business owners. So labor is often accused, and that hurts their movement a great deal. Uh, Not only just going on strikes, but then this idea that they're creating disorder, as you see here, murder, chaos. So this great fear of really a lot of Russian immigrants, Eastern European immigrants, and individuals that are associated with ideas and beliefs that are presumed to be contrary to American ideas. In my class, uh, we just looked at Sacco and Vanzetti, which is this kind of tragic case of people that have different ideas and are accused of terrible crimes. So the Red Scare isn't necessarily just a fear, it does result in some serious consequences for many Americans. Um, with those labor problems that I mentioned, one of the big ones is the Boston police strike. The Boston police go on strike. They say, we're not getting paid enough. We have a list of demands that we want met. So what happens is they bring in the National Guard, and you have the president here on the right, inspecting the National Guard. And eventually, every police officer that goes on strike is fired. They replace all of them. And as you can imagine, a city like Boston suddenly not having police causes a lot of great anxiety within the people that live there. We also have initiative, referendum, and recall, which are Measures that are put into place to allow people to have a voice, have a say in elections. Referendum means people can come together and poll each other and get a sense as to how people feel about a certain issue or belief. Initiative. If you look on the left, we have that nurse initiative in Massachusetts to limit the amount of patients so that people can put forward laws and changes to government and society that they believe are important and that they don't think politicians are going to do themselves. So it allows people to put ideas on ballots without politicians really having a hand in it and making changes themselves. And you have the recall, top right, Scott Walker, which was in Wisconsin, governor of Wisconsin. Recall means you can, in the middle of a politician's term, vote them out of office if you think as a state, as a group, that they're that bad. So it takes some of the power out of politicians' hands and puts them into the American people's hands. I should have talked about this in the progressive era, but by 1920, in the 20s, really this has taken hold in many states in America and given a lot of power back to the people. Not only are there a lot of political changes, but socially, one of the biggest changes occurs due to the Great Migration, which is a movement of African Americans from the south to the north. If you look on the map on the right, these centers here in orange are really growing exponentially of their African American population, and the ones in the south are decreasing a great deal. Jobs are up in the north, and in the south, a lot of African Americans are kind of tired of living with this group, the KKK. Their comeback is pretty strong in the 1920s, and they're not just looking at race, they are speaking out a lot against immigrants, against Catholics. Um, so the KKK and this kind of hate group spurs the Great Migration, but also economics. When there's factory jobs up north, it's hard to resist those. So there's a lot of changes politically, socially in America in the 20s, and we're going to look at a lot more of that good stuff other than the KKK as to how America changes as we move forward. So my class, we'll be jumping into some more things. If you're not my class, what's up? And we'll talk to you later.